Fatemeh Is Zahra's politics? He says, look at Fatemeh Is Zahra. Number one, he says Fatemeh is from the line of free woman. Do you know why he says that? He says she's from the line of Hajar. To the eye of the normal human, Hajar was a slave. But to the eye of a Muslim human being, Hajar was a free woman. Because she was buried near the Kaaba of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many women could be buried near the Kaaba? Yet Hajar embodied the idea of the free, emancipated woman by being buried near the Kaaba at a time when only men would be. He said, number one, Fatemeh is from Hajar's line because Hajar's son Ismail is the ancestor of Fatemeh. Number one. He then says, do you know why Fatemeh is called Kawthar? And Inna A'tainaka al-Kawthar? He says, not because the Sayyids remain from her line. He said, Kawthar means abundance. Abundance of what? She inherited an abundance of values from her father, Rasulullah. It's unbelievable. It's not the tragic Fatemeh that we build on this mimbar. Year in, year out, a tragic story, tragic. Show Fatemeh the thinker. Show Fatemeh the mover. Show Fatemeh the politically active woman. Don't come to a mosque just to cry. Come to a mosque to reform. He says number two. Then he says number three. This Fatemeh was brought up in a time of hardship, and that is what developed her character. He said this Fatemeh used to see the placenta of an animal thrown on her father when he was in sujood. And she'd come and clean her father's head. This same Fatemeh in the Sha'b of Abu Talib would see her mother Khadijه die without a kafan to cover her body. This same Fatemeh would see people put wood and fire outside the house of Rasulullah. Yet this Fatemeh never once complained to her father about what had happened in her life. He said that this Fatemeh would develop her potential until he said that either you have Fatemeh, daughter of Muhammad, or you have Fatemeh al-Zahra. He says there's a difference. Listen to the difference. He says Fatemeh, daughter of Muhammad, is when we as human beings make people great because of who their dads were. We have a problem as human beings. We make people great because of who their dads were. And the big problem is that sometimes some of those sons take advantage. That we'll leave for another night. And sometimes as human beings, we have Fatemeh al-Zahra, who becomes Fatemeh. She is Fatemeh by herself. He then compares Fatemeh to the other women of paradise. He says, there are 4 women of paradise. Who are they? Asiya, Maryam, Khadijah, and Fatemeh. He says, do you know what the difference is between Fatemeh and the rest of them? He says, Asiya brought up Moses. Mary brought up Jesus. Khadijah looked after Muhammad. Yet there is no limit to who Fatemeh has brought up. Aren't we all followers of Fatemeh? Those 90 days after Rasulullah died were the days when Fatemeh became Fatemeh. Because politically she spoke out against the oppression. And the only reason Fatemeh is Sayyidat Nisa al-Alameen is because the ones before her brought up 1, whereas look how many she has brought up. And that's why he says, where was Fatemeh politically active? He said the first place Fatemeh is politically active was in the event of Mubahala. How old was Fatemeh al-Zahra when Mubahala happened? 16 years old. Yet when the Christians of Najran came to Medina, and Rasulullah said to them, what do you believe? They said, we believe Jesus is the Son of God. They said, Muhammad, what do you believe? He said, we believe Jesus is the Prophet of God. Why do you believe Jesus is the Son? They said, because he didn't have a father, so he must be the Son. The verse was revealed in the Quran, إِنَّ مَثَلَ عِيسَى عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَمَثَلِ آدَمَ. If you're saying Jesus should be the Son of God because he didn't have a father, shouldn't Adam have a greater right to be the Son of God? He didn't have a father or a mother. When they couldn't reply, they came to a mubahala. Do you know what a mubahala is? To most people, a mubahala is an act where the curse of God comes on the party who loses. Not to Shariati. To Shariati, A mubahala is what? It's the moment you as the Prophet of God say that whoever I'm bringing tomorrow are the very beacons of this religion I've built. I have so much confidence in who I'm bringing tomorrow that I'm willing to lay down the whole life of this religion on these people. That's why the Sahaba, the companions, wanted to be there on the day. Many of them thought, are we going to be with Rasulullah? The Quran said, فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ فَقُلْ تَعَالَوْا نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ. If they dispute with you over what you've discussed, then say, we will bring our sons. Surah 3, verse 61. We will bring our sons, you bring your sons. Who did he take with him as his sons? Imam al-Hasan, Imam al-Hussein. We will bring our woman, you bring your woman. Who did he take with him as his woman? The word nisa'ana is a plural. True? So when we say he took Fatima, some say, how could it be Fatima? It's a plural. There should be more women. Was Nabi Ibrahim an ummah? Ibrahim was an ummah. One person is a whole ummah. Likewise, Fatima by herself was an ummah. So when he took her, he doesn't need any other lady, because none come near the dust which Fatima walks on. As himself, he took Amir al-Mu'mineen. The main point to Shariati was what? 16 years old, his daughter. He takes her with him. He wants to show the religion allows women to be politically active. If the religion didn't allow women to be politically active, he would have said, you, stay at home. You can't come with me. No. The Christians only bought male. Yet today we are accused of oppressing women. Whereas in the event of Mubahala, when Rasul took a woman with him, he was showing this woman has as much opinion as the men who have come with her. That's number one. The second political act of Fatemeh Is Zahra, speaking out against Saqifa and what happened to Amir al-Mu'mineen. Because when she spoke out, you think Fatemeh Is Zahra is just the daughter of Muhammad? No. Fatemeh is Fatemeh. She's her own person. She has her own principles, her own character. You usurp the rights of my husband, Ali ibn Abi Talib. Who is more worthy to have that position than Ali ibn Abi Talib? Nobody would speak out for Amir al-Mu'mineen in those dark days, those lonesome days like Fatemeh Is Zahra. Politically, she didn't just stay at home and say, I'm sorry you've lost your leadership, inshallah it will come to you in the future. No. If I have to use my tongue to speak out, and my tongue causes my martyrdom, let martyrdom be in my school. Because where do you think Abu Abdullah learned his martyrdom from, other than his mother Fatima? That when you need to speak out politically, you have to. She spoke out, and then in the final area, when she spoke out in the mas'ala of Fadak. Fadak was her land. Verse by verse, politically in that sermon, Ayatollah al-Mar'ashi, Najafi Mar'ashi, he has a story with the 12th Imam where the 12th Imam says, one of the signs of our followers is that they've memorized the sermon of Fatemeh Is Zahra at Fadak. Because in that sermon, Fatemeh Is Zahra shook the whole of Arabia. Politically, she said that you say that I can't receive inheritance. Are me and my father are of different religions? Or has the time of ignorance returned? Or are you more aware of this religion than my father and my cousin Ali ibn Abi Talib? She then quoted every verse about inheritance in that sermon. Do you see daughters of Rasulullah today quoting verses of the Quran? Do you see daughters of Rasulullah today politically active? Shariati felt he didn't see any. He saw women simply crying about Fatima but not acting like Fatima. Whereas Fatima, in that sermon, she quoted verse after verse. وَوَرِثَ سُلَيْمَانَ دَاوُودَ وَأُولِي الْأَرْحَامِ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلَى بِبَعْضٍ فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذَا حَضَرَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ إِنْ تَرَكَ خَيْرًا الْوَصِيَّةَ لِلْوَالِدَيْنِ وَالْأَقْرَبِينَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Every verse about inheritance, Fatemeh Is Zahra would politically speak out. Why? Because to Shariati, what made Fatima was the political sermons that she gave to defend the religion of Islam. And that's why when people ask, why is the martyrdom of Fatemeh Is Zahra so important? It's because if it wasn't for Fatemeh Is Zahra,